Good day. Today we're going to be unboxing the Raspberry Pi 4 8GB model. Now I just got my box in from buyapi.ca, so let's have a closer look at it and see what we got. Okay, so we have our box right here, and we're going to open it up and see what kind of fun stuff we got in there. Alright, so I only found this guy here, so we're just going to use this guy to open it up. All my tools are at work today, so we'll just go ahead and get this guy opened up here. And I see the autofocus is kicking in quite often here. This is my first time using this setup, so bear with me. I will be making adjustments over the next few videos here and getting used to the now better top-down camera. Now I am wearing gloves, so as you can see I did have a Dremel that I was using today. I was drilling out a keyhole, and the sandpaper on the drum decided to shatter and take a little bit off my thumb there. Nothing major, just a little bit of scratches, but enough that we'll just wear gloves for you guys today. Got the autofocus off, so hopefully that should help. We've got it good enough here. So I'm just going to open this up, and there's my packing list. That's great. So I got a couple of things in here, and one of them is the Raspberry Pi 4 8GB model right here. That's a beauty right there. So we'll go ahead, we'll open that guy up, and then we'll get it swapped over onto our desktop unit here, and we will see what happens. Now I did order some of these guys here. If you remember the board I made in fritzing, I did notice that I was using the 3mm LEDs on it, so I grabbed some of those just for fun to add a bit more color. And yeah, I have some white ones, but I'm not a big fan of the white ones in projects. I don't like looking at them, so that's why I got those guys. And then we got one more item on the counter here. Now for the price, you really couldn't go wrong with it. I think I paid $2.95 Canadian for this guy, or something like that. Let me check here. I am very sorry. So $1.95 got me this guy here, and well, if you know me, you know I like one thing, and it's coffee. So we've got ourselves a beautiful buyapi.ca mug. Alright, your Canadian source for Raspberry Pi, microbit, Arduino educational products, and maker supplies. That is pretty cool. So that is definitely one for the shelf. I might use it a little bit here and there. The only thing I don't like about these size cups is they don't hold enough coffee. I like a little bit bigger cup. But let's carry on to the Raspberry Pi itself here. Now we do have some differences on this guy than we did on the Raspberry Pi 4 4GB model. It seems like once I upgrade one, it ends up coming out with another one. So thank you, Raspberry Pi. It's no different than the Raspberry Pi 3 that I built here, the 3B Plus, on my wall. Now I built it, and then a week later they released the Raspberry Pi 4. So I was kind of like, okay, well maybe I'll make another one. I will probably at some time, but for now, we'll just use that guy on the wall. Today it's not lit up, but you know, we're looking at the Pi 4 today, so back down. Alright, so there we go. I wonder if I can we change the ISO level or anything? I'm still getting used to this, so hey. So let's have a look here. We're going to open this bad boy up. And as always, we've got a nice beautiful Raspberry Pi logo beating us in the face here. So from what I can tell is we're going to take apart our desktop unit here right now, and we'll just kind of look at some of the differences that they've done here right off the bat. Oh, hey, I gotta get some heat sinks for this guy here, and then yeah, we'll put them on as well. I think I bought a bulk pack on eBay or Amazon. You get 10 packs of heat sinks for your Raspberry Pis, so I got a bunch of those packs left, so we'll definitely be cracking into them. So I wonder if, I don't know why I can't focus on that. So can I go, oh look at that, Look at that, I'm starting to get the hang of that. Okay, so that's as far down as my top-down camera goes. Sorry if it's a little shaky at the moment. It is on a microphone stand. Alright, so I'm just going to get these guys out of the way here too. And I will grab the heat sinks and we'll start pulling the desktop apart. I'm really hoping that we can just swap out the boards now. Hopefully this will actually be able to just, because of the new firmware, I'm hoping it's already installed on this so we can just swap it over and get working right away. If not, we will have to insert our other micro SD card, get that set up and updated, and then re-swap the drive out. So we'll do that now. Alright, so like I said, I do have these guys here. They are just some little heat sinks. They'll fit on the CPU, and then I usually drop 2 on here, and yeah, if I want I can add another one over here, but we'll see what happens here. I might grab another pack and get some more heat sinks going. So the first thing I'm going to do is I am going to unplug my other Raspberry Pi here. Oh, now you can see it's a lot quieter in here. So there we go. So this is my desktop unit here. I'm just going to focus in a little bit more on that for you if I can. So there it is. So the great news, my battery died again, so I don't have a battery charged up. We're going to have to move fairly quickly on this one. I'm just going to pop this off. Now this is a Raspberry Pi 3 case, or 2, or whatever you want to call it. So she's a little dirty, as you can tell after a little bit of time. She does like to build that up. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to pull this guy out, and we're just going to remove this board here. I do have the micro SD card here just in case we do need it for the install there, and then all I'm doing is popping that guy out. Now I did want to keep these heat sinks here, but not the end of the world. I don't think I can really remove them that easily, and then I'll have to apply more adhesive and all that kind of fun stuff to it. So for right at the moment we are just going to use this guy here, and I'm just gonna pop a few of these on here. Right off the bat, there's a few little differences, not too much, but as you can tell they have done a little bit of redesign in here. So on the new one here you can see they have hopefully fixed the USB-C issues. Only time will tell. As far as the rest of it goes, I think it all looks pretty darn close to the way it was. I do see a little bit of redesign over on the Ethernet here, over down below here. There's a few little different things there. It is a little bit more redesigned. Just small little things by the looks of it though. That's a good thing, so that's why I wanted to upgrade. I wanted to make sure I had the newer of the things, of the fun. Once again, thanks for sticking in, everyone. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you all for subscribing, for those that you have. Couldn't have done these videos without you guys and your support. It's been great so far, and can't wait to do more videos for you guys. So make sure you post in the comments section below of anything that you want to see me do. I always appreciate you guys posting some ideas for me to check out. And that being said, we have a bunch of videos coming up. I kind of took a little break there for a week or two. Just lots going on, and with this whole way the world is right now, sometimes you just gotta have a break and sit back and relax and play some video games. So that's what I did. So I'm just gonna get one more on here. So when it comes to heat sinks, I do find they do help, so make sure you always get one. It will drop your temperatures at least 2 or 3 degrees, if not more. When you have a fan on there as well, it's going to even drop it down even more so you're always going to get a lot better cooling. So far I have tried a bunch of different cases though, and I have found my hacked up Raspberry Pi 3 or 2 case to be the best one so far. there's still a bunch of cases out there that I do want to try, but at this current time, this junky little case does the trick, and it keeps my Pi nice and cool. And yeah, so I'm just gonna go ahead and get this guy in here now, and we'll get it booted up and see what happens. So that's there. That's all sitting on there. It just needs to sit there. And then we're gonna plug this fan back in to the 5-volt line here, just like that. And put the lid back on. I will have to clean it up a little bit at some point. For right now, we just want to keep it cool. So that's that. As you can see, it is hacked up. And yeah, it does the trick. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to plug in my hard drive. I eventually do have to get this put over onto USB 3. But for right at this moment, we're just going to do that. Okay, so I'm going to do that, and I'm going to attempt to boot it up and see what happens. So give me 1 second here. So what I'm getting on screen here right now is that the Raspberry Pi failed to boot because there is no SD card. So what we're going to do is we're going to get it booted up with the SD card, and we'll get the firmware updated, and then we will reboot without the micro SD card in there, and hopefully that will work then, and everything will be saved. So let's go ahead and try that now. Alright, so it's just booting up on the micro SD card. It looks like it's kind of working. Hopefully it is. There we go. I got a mouse cursor. I'm ready to rock and roll. Once again, I'm not sponsored by buyapi.ca, but you know what? I want to thank them very much for getting my package to me. I greatly appreciate it. I was probably the first person on their website at 12 o'clock, refreshing like a madman well before midnight, hoping to get my hands on the Raspberry Pi 4 8GB version. Even using Rosetta at home as the Boink UI on there. It loves to use RAM, so having 8 gigs would definitely help the process out a bit. So yes, there is things that will require that 8 gigabytes that will utilize it, but the main thing was trying to be able to hot swap it with the new board, and it's just basically updating that firmware on the Raspberry Pi and then popping it in, and it should boot up no problem. So I'll be right back in just a second, and we'll have a look to see if we got on without any issues. Alright, so I just finished uploading the firmware for the Raspberry Pi, and we're now on the May 15th bootloader. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to power off my Raspberry Pi, I'm going to pull out my micro SD card, and hopefully we get VNC Viewer back up here so we can actually get it to do something. So far it's going through the boot up just fine here, so I think we're going to connect in just a moment here. Hopefully we'll see what happens here, and we'll see how the 8 gig version does here. I just got back my screen here, so I'm going to go ahead and swap over. Alrighty, and there we go. Now we're back on our Raspberry Pi, ready to do our main stuff here, and as I can see here, that has definitely gone down on the RAM usage. This line used to be up a lot higher, and when I'd run like Boink UI, stuff like that, it would be way up top here. So let's go ahead and just make sure that all my CPU, architecture, yep, so that looks all good. As you can see, I do have it overclocked just a little bit. On this case, like I said, I don't get this temperature on any other case. They're usually a lot higher than that, so I'm quite happy about that. Coming up, we do have work on Pico 8 and Voxatron. coming up on the Raspberry Pi, so that should be fun to play around with, so stay tuned for that. We'll definitely be making some games on here, as well as a game that we'll be making for the NES coming up as well. So lots of projects on the go here. Let's just have a quick look here. Let's see how quickly something like Fritzing will load up here. See if that's about the same. As you can tell, RAM usage, very, very small amount. CPU usage looks about the same. You're not really going to see high CPU usage until you start popping up programs like Google Chrome, things like that. So, okay, that works. I'm just going to go ahead. I'm going to bring up a web page or two here. Okay, so I just brought up raspberrypi.org. Once again, CPU usage is in that 90s, drops down fairly quick. Then we can check out all the new cool products. So, alright, anyways, so make sure to hit that like button, make sure to hit that subscribe button. If you have any questions, post them below. I always check them. I try to get back as soon as possible. And thank you for watching, everyone. Once again, have a wonderful day, a wonderful week, and we'll see you next time. Take care, eh? Oh, just so you know, I didn't really go into too much more on the Raspberry Pi for 8 gig because I really just finished setting it up, so there's not really much I can do to stress out the RAM, but basically use it the way I'm going to be using it as a desktop and work it like I would a normal computer. When it comes to my video editing, things like that, I'm probably going to notice a lot more of a difference when it comes down to it. So, do you need an 8 gig Raspberry Pi 4? Yes, you do. Just because, why not? But no, a 4 or 2 gigabyte version might work for you as well. Depends on what you want to do. If you're going to play games on it, like emulators and that, 4 gigs of RAM more will probably help you do more buffering and stuff like that, or something. It'll probably help. It will. But the 4 gigabyte model will most certainly play most of the games that you're going to want to play. And if you want to play any other games, well, you know what? Buy an old console and play it on that. Or something. I don't know. That's it for me.